We're gonna, real quick, just good to get back out there. Obviously, it's been 3.5 months since we were able to do anything with our guys. The strength coaches had a great summer with them, and just was excited to be able to start talking football with them again. So had a good long meeting this morning, and then another meeting this afternoon. Got out there and ran around a little bit, and first look at all the freshmen, and it's non-padded. It's not real football, but we're able to get started. So from there, I'll take some questions.
What did you talk to them about? Did you talk about expectations for this year? What was the message you had before the first practice?
Well, we talked about expectations yesterday. We had a bunch of administrative meetings and compliance meetings and team meeting where we went over a bunch of rules and regulations, and we addressed expectations, and we basically told them that we were going to ignore expectations just like we did last year going into the Clemson game. We didn't really care what you guys wrote or what the media was saying on TV or what the expectations were of that game, so we weren't going to pay attention to that. So it's the same thing now. Expectations are high, which we like, but we're not going to pay any attention to it. How you handle expectations is just doing your job. Talk to them about just focusing hard on making yourselves better and all three sides of the ball better, and worried about doing whatever we got to do from a team building chemistry standpoint to get that as good as we can. That's how you handle expectations.
Speaking of expectations, you were number 11 in the coaches poll today. What do the polls mean to you, especially preseason polls, especially one by coaches?
Well, it's important to be in the top 20. I mean, the top 20 teams get more recognition. So it's good to be there. We're happy about being there. Are we going to throw a party about it? Probably not. Are we going to talk about it? Probably not. So it's it's an honor to be there, and it's good. It's good for the program, and it's good publicity, and we're fired up about it. But it's not going to change anything we do, and we're not going to talk about it, and we're not going to change what the routine is or how we practice or any of that.
And I think 4 true freshman signings aren't here. Do you expect any change with that? I mean, them to be able to make it in or probably not?
They're going to a prep school. McManus is going to a prep school. D. Joyner was, I'm not quite sure where he's going. Bernie's still, he's still trying. That's still in the NCAA. So the rest of them are here and healthy and ready to go.
What did you see out of the guys who missed spring with injuries and finally getting them back out there?
I was excited to see him out there. Terrence looked like Terrence. He looks good and was moving around pretty good. Dustin, looked good. Juwan Snow was, he's a shoulder thing, so his thing is going to be pop with his pads. But he was moving around, and it was good to see him out there. Pat Miller's back, ready to go. Who else was hurt? Can you remember?
McCartney missing time.
Yeah, he's usually missing time, but he's out there doing fine. We had a meeting at 2, and we start every meeting at 2 with Dave Kearns giving us an update on healthy, healthy, not healthy, practicing, not practicing, and all that, and he had 0 people on his list. So it's what it should become the first practice. Sure, it'll change, but that's part of it.
Compared to last year, you've got like 100 quarterbacks out there. How much does that help you? And are you just tired of throwing the football, you and Shannon?
Yeah. Well, Shannon can't throw. Jake's better than him. Hey, we got 5 arms, which helps. A lot of those drills that we do requires 5 guys throwing it. It alleviates some of the just the every down throwing that Gino and Paul do. So it's long term, it should really help us. Because we can get better from a drill standpoint and not wear out Gino's arm, not wear out Paul's arm. So having 5 guys is definitely what we're shooting for.
Not to put somebody else's, I'd like to ask him, but the kid who starts D2 school for 2 years and then suddenly walks on here? Is there a rhyme or a reason to that?
Well, yeah, he thinks he can play here. So, I mean, he wouldn't have transferred here just to quit playing football. I don't know anything about him yet. Today's the first day I saw him. There's a few, there's a handful of new guys. I don't quite know who they are yet, but yeah, when he called and wanted to talk to Jake about coming up here, Jake asked him why, and he said, "Well, I think I can play there." So time will tell.
How much of today is just teaching the newcomers how to practice and how to, go through the initial stuff?
Yeah, there's 25 to 30 new guys out there, so they got to look up to the older guys and just follow them. I mean, it's obviously part of the transition, but because you get all these kids in here during the summer, with the way it used to be 10 years ago, you had 3 practices with the freshmen, and that's when you taught them. But because now we can bring them in over the summer and they can be on scholarship, they've been out there throwing and catching, and going through the process. So it eases that transition. So we didn't practice any differently. We didn't practice any slower. Those guys just got to catch up and they got to keep up.
Last year you came in and had to teach offense. This year it's a defense. Is it comparable, and how difficult is it what they're going to be going through on defense?
Well, it's the schemes that we put in place defensively and special teams wise are much like it is for us offensively. It's not that hard to pick up. I'm not saying it's easy to get good at any of that, but it's easy to pick up. So with that said, and the reason it is because the schemes, the conference that we're going to is going to require us to play more people. It's going to require us to play more people on defense. It's going to require us to play more people on special teams, which, what do you mean by more people? Well, it obviously means getting the freshmen involved in it. So, it's going to be a work in progress. There's no question, but those guys look pretty good to me. They didn't bust many things today. It's a work in progress for us offensively still, too.